Deep in the world's oceans lives a creature whose strikes are faster than the blink of a human eye, faster than your brain can process what just happened. This is the mantis shrimp, also known as the stomatopod. Sure, it may look like a regular shrimp, but this incredible little monster can instantly snap the bone in your finger if you dare to disturb it. Mantis shrimps pack unbelievable power. They can shatter aquarium glass, smash through thick mollusk shells, and crush crab armor using a single striking club no bigger than a baby carrot. And here's the crazy part. If a human tried to throw a punch at that same insane speed, every single bone in their arm would be pulverized.
A natural question arises. Why have these crustaceans developed such phenomenal aggression compared to other sea creatures? And from whom do they defend themselves, if even the seemingly weakest crustaceans in the ocean possess such powerful weaponry? To answer these questions, we need to delve deeper into the nature of the mantis shrimp. Despite their name, mantis shrimp are not actually shrimp. They're crustaceans, but they belong to an entirely different order, Stomapoda, which diverged from other modern crustaceans very early in evolutionary history, approximately 400 million years ago.
There are thousands of species of mantis shrimp, and their sizes vary significantly. Some individuals can reach the size of a human palm, while others grow to the length of a forearm. Despite belonging to the same group as shrimp, crabs, and lobsters, the mantis shrimp stands out among common crustaceans. They're divided into two main types based on the unique weapons they use for hunting and defense: sharp spears or powerful striking clubs.
Warrior classes, spearers and smashers. Spearers are a class of warriors that use razor-sharp spines composed of chitin and calcium phosphate. These creatures literally impale their prey like a spear. Spearers prefer ambush tactics, not relying solely on brute force. Thanks to their deadly weapon, they don't need to venture far from their burrow in search of food. Instead, a spearer patiently waits for an unwary fish or squid to swim by, then strikes with lightning speed, grabbing the prey and dragging it back into its lair before it can react.
Smashers are another class of warriors, renowned for their unique strategy. They don't pierce, but rather crush their prey with powerful blows. Smashers grasp their target with their claws, precisely position it, and then deliver a strike. While they can't take down large animals like whales, they effortlessly destroy any other crustaceans that dare to approach them. Thus, they developed an instant kill method to dominate the reef. But why isn't such colossal strength overkill for hunting small fish? Most of the food in the micro reef is securely hidden inside thick shells, and despite stomatopods growing up to 15 inches long, they aren't large enough to hunt big animals. Therefore, mantis shrimp had to find another way to survive in their environment. And, surprisingly, they found it very early in their evolutionary history. Instead of relying solely on muscle, stomatopods developed a weapon capable of striking with extreme force, reaching 1,500 newtons. To fully appreciate the strike force of 1,500 newtons, we can compare it to a human's. Technically, humans can hit harder, reaching around 3,300 newtons, but this applies only to elite boxers or other heavyweights. The average adult male can deliver a punch with about 400 newtons of force. However, even when compared to heavyweights, this comparison misses two critically important points. First, the mantis shrimp's contact area is significantly smaller. This means the pressure exerted on the target is much higher, allowing them to penetrate a crab's shell much more effectively. Second, while the mantis shrimp's strike is roughly half the force of an elite human's punch, it's important to remember that these shrimp are only a few inches long. In the ocean, there are virtually no other animals that strike with such force.
And frankly, striking has proven to be an incredibly effective survival strategy. The mantis shrimp has survived several mass extinctions, including the Great Permian Extinction, the largest extinction event in Earth's history, as well as the asteroid impact that ended the age of dinosaurs.
If punches are so effective, why don't all ocean dwellers use this strategy? The short answer is physics. The long answer is you die yourself before you killed anything else. If you've ever tried to punch while standing in a pool, you know what happens. Your hand moves through the water in slow motion. That's because water is about 800 times denser than air, creating huge resistance. For most animals in the ocean, trying to move a limb fast enough to do real damage is physically impossible. The water just pushes back too hard. But there's a second, even bigger problem, the speed limit of muscles. Most animals use muscle contractions for movement, but muscles have a biological limit on how fast they can contract. To break through the density of water, it requires a level of acceleration that ordinary muscles simply can't provide. Indestructible weapons and unique vision. However, a question arises. Why don't their clubs break? According to Newton's third law, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. By that logic, when the mantis shrimp delivers its destructive strike, it should receive the same force back. And it does, but we can't see it with the naked eye because what's happening is hidden in the structure of the mantis shrimp's weapon. The mantis shrimp's club has a structure known as the Boulligan structure. In this structure, layers of chitin fibers are laid in overlapping sheets, with each layer slightly rotated relative to the previous one, forming a spiral pattern. Thanks to this arrangement, when the smasher strikes and receives the recoil, the force doesn't concentrate in one point. Instead, it dissipates across multiple layers, which significantly reduces damage and makes the club extraordinarily resistant to destruction. This same structure is now being actively studied by scientists for creating bulletproof vests, aircraft fuselages, and even components for spacecraft. However, having a weapon that moves faster than a bullet is useless if you can't find your target. For some reason, when something approaches the mantis shrimp, it just stops and stares intently. It doesn't run away or attack immediately, it just observes. It also rotates its eyes during observation. Although this looks pretty strange, the mantis shrimp is actually tuning the photoreceptors inside its eyes. This way, they sort of separate what they see from the background. That means almost nothing can remain hidden from them, even transparent animals. And camouflage is also practically useless when you're trying to hide from a mantis shrimp. Since they have from 12 to 16 photoreceptors, they can detect far more wavelengths than we can, like ultraviolet light and others completely invisible to us. But they don't actually see more colors. All these photoreceptors just allow mantis shrimps to recognize specific color signatures, helping them instantly identify patterns instead of blending shapes. The mantis shrimp can see circularly polarized light, a phenomenon where light waves rotate in a circle. It can also perceive depth with one eye, while moving each eye independently, allowing it to look in multiple directions at once. Scientists still don't fully understand why this animal developed such effective vision. It's weird. But while there are many hypotheses, there's no single definitive explanation for why their eyes became so extreme. It's probably related to hunting or the fact that they live on bright reefs, but it's weirdly overkill. But despite these incredible eyes, or the fact that they've packed the power of Muhammad Ali into a shrimp only 3 inches long, the strangest part of the mantis shrimp is the brain they've developed. Other crustaceans have brains, of course, but the brains of mantis shrimp are unusual. They essentially have the brains of insects. They have developed what are known as mushroom bodies. These are advanced information processing structures that act much like a cerebral cortex. In the mantis shrimp's brain, sensory information is first received, then integrated to produce complex reactions. This information is then stored in memory, allowing a mantis shrimp to remember specific hunting spots and recognize neighboring individuals. So yes, it can essentially hold a grudge against animals it has encountered before.
A very clear example of these mushroom bodies at work is when a mantis shrimp needs to return to its burrow after hunting. Most animals rely on what is called idiothetic path integration to find their way home. The name sounds a bit fancy, but the idea is actually quite simple. As the animal moves, it tracks its own movements internally. It records every turn it makes and estimates the distance between its current position and its burrow. From this information, the animal constructs a mental vector, allowing it to return home in a straight line if necessary, rather than retracing every single step it took. This is typically seen only in insects like ants or bees and is very rare in the ocean. While most crustaceans are solitary and aggressive, some species of mantis shrimp are actually monogamous. And I don't mean monogamous for a season. I mean they find a partner and stay with them for up to 20 years. They share a burrow, coordinate their hunting, and even take turns guarding the eggs. It's quite sweet, almost as if they've gotten married. It's not exactly what you'd expect from a creature whose first instinct is to attack anything that moves with the speed of a bullet. They are either the most terrifying antisocial neighbors on the reef or the most devoted long-term partners in the ocean.
But just like in the human world, if you brag about being a tough boxer, someone is going to want to fight you. We've talked a lot about how well these creatures attack, but we haven't looked at their defense. If a mantis shrimp can shatter a mollusk shell, it's logical to assume that one mantis shrimp can punch right through another. Since they're highly territorial, they're constantly getting into brawls. But if every fight ended with a .22 caliber hit to the chest, the species would have gone extinct millions of years ago. They would simply annihilate each other. So they developed a shield. The mantis shrimp's tail, called the telson, is essentially a piece of biological heavy armor. It's shaped like a buckler and reinforced with the same boulligin structure as their clubs. When two smashers fight, they engage in a little ritual tournament. They take turns. One shrimp curls up and presents its armored tail, while the other delivers a massive blow. They're literally playing a game of who can take more pain, until one of them realizes they're losing and leaves the burrow. And this strategy works. It allows them to settle disputes without killing each other. Well, most of the time. For them, it's mutual assured destruction, so they balance it out in a sort of friendly boxing match. These creatures are the best proof that in the ocean, size doesn't actually matter. All that matters is how hard you can hit. Defense is the best offense when you can punch that hard.